Welcome to Rhodes Proper. This East Coast province was once a peaceful kingdom before the assassination of the royal family kick-started a war that would lead to the creation of the Rhodic Empire. At its core lies the Dashidan Plains. Here, rolling hills and wide-sweeping grasslands are home to all manner of folk who live off the land and trade with those passing through it. The Trey Wilds are a strip of land filled with bandits and raiders where the Empire is constantly having to re-establish order. The King's Fall Shire is the land surrounding the city of Loris, a settlement that has been around for over 2,000 years. It is a tranquil region with sleepy towns and fruitful farmland. The Elba Grovelands is home to the treasured poppy fields that are protected by the ore-rich mountains surrounding them. The Olgan Coast is one of the gateways to Minosovik North, allowing maritime trade with the regions beyond the Dragon's Mouth. The Zethan wetlands are mist-covered and storm-racked. And the Altheum Wastes is a wretched land haunted by the ghost of a long-dead tyrant. Weaving through Rhodes Proper is the Red Road, a monumental construction commissioned by Emperor Casimir Tempest himself to bind the entire central province together. House Lambton's stewardship of the great project is what elevated the small, noble family from obscurity to its current power. Red brick after red brick, the road spans the entirety of the empire, ending at the eastern coast and the capital city, Romus, where the empire's might resides. Standing as a symbol of both power and faith, it houses the seat of authority for both the empire and the Church of the Golden Conquest. So majestic is the city that its landscape adorns the backside of the imperial gold coin. As both the high priest of the church and the incarnation of its god, Emperor Casimir Tempest has total control over the spread and influence of its faith. Positions of power throughout the empire are filled with members of the clergy. It is common for the firstborn of a family to join the church for political gain. Priests are allowed to marry and are often sent out with their families to oversee construction of new settlements. Martial prowess is a key asset for those preaching the golden word. Whatever falls into the shadow must be brought into the guiding light of the Golden Conquest, after all. Every village and town has at least a temple dedicated to the emperor, with the largest cities housing cathedrals with stained glass windows showing their god emperor's epic deeds. Those who wish to practice the arcane arts legally travel to Romus to study at the Collegium Arcanum, an academy run by the church. It instructs practitioners on the proper use of magic, while scouting for potential recruits. Those who wish to learn more than the basics can elect to join the church, allowing access to more advanced studies in exchange for working for the empire. Education has its price, however. Initiates to the Collegium must donate a finger upon registration. This is so if a practitioner turns against the empire and becomes a heretic, witch hunters can use it to track them down. Those who prefer an independent life return home after their studies and either work with their local temple or set up shop as the town's healer or alchemist. Mage towers can be found deep in the woods or high up on mountaintops, where more solitary practitioners wish to study out of the sight of the church entirely. Almost all of the trade routes in the empire are controlled by a single organization, tri-continental trading company. Run by three powerful orc families, the TTC has forged a web of contracts and partnerships that have held strong for centuries, connecting Tyr with the lands to the west and east of it. Because of this, the Empire's merchant class is dominated by orc clans. Whether they are traveling caravans or living within one of the great cities, orcs live side by side with humans, however strained it may be. Relationships between the human noble families and the orc merchant clans has always been tenuous. Both groups are constantly vying for control of resources. Political power struggles are played behind the scenes and out of sight of the Emperor, lest he weigh in himself. Alongside trade, the arts travel around Rhodes Proper just as easily. Most news is passed along through the troubadours, some sanctioned by the church, but more often than not, by more interesting folk. The Kopi people hold a very strong tradition surrounding entertainment. Songs and ballads of old heroes are kept alive by these performers. The best bards in the Empire claim to be descendants of those from the Lost Kingdom. The city of Valoris, home to the greatest population of Kopi people, was once the capital of the kingdom of the same name, before it was seized and made the center of the Zilduga Empire. The ruins of the Shadow Emperor's castle can still be seen on the mountaintop above the city 1,000 years after its fall. No matter how lovely the songs may be, or beautiful the art is, the cruelty of Emperor Tempest's rule cannot be fully disguised. While life in the Empire might be peaceful for those lucky enough to conform to it, for those disenfranchised, displaced, or persecuted by the strict rule of the Empire suffer cruelty like no other. The Kef, a lineage of small folk whose origins lie in the southern regions of the continent, were brought to the Central Territories during the early years of the Empire. Many came peacefully in exchange for the promise of a better life. However, some were coerced and even kidnapped. Upon arrival, it was revealed that the only place the Kef were wanted in society was in servitude. Over the years, civil unrest has freed many of these folk from their forced obligations, adding to the rebellious voice that has been steadily brewing. Those who wish a better world are finding hope in the shadows that the Empire's light aims to banish. The Empire is aware of this instability and has pressed harder down on its people in the past years. History has shown that this method never produces its intended outcome, however. Rhodes Proper is but one region of the Empire, but a powerful one. What happens here affects the rest of the Central Territories, rippling like waves in a pond. It is a template for the rest of the regions in both its virtues and its flaws.